ladies. Welcome back to another episode of JabNSlip.
Told you we'll be back at it.
And we already got. Look at the upgrades already, guys.
This is wild.
Look
You
at
already know.
fantastic. Look at the upgrades.
The man said if we're not trying to be the best, right?
What are we doing?
What the hell are we doing? We're here again. We're here again.
Trust me, yo. We got an array of topics to discuss today.
Tell them.
Yes, we do.
We got a super big upgrade on the tech side. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the microphones we got. You know what I'm saying? I had that $30 cash.
That's
a
real dude.
I
would not have said nothing about that.
Mike came through with that. I can't lie. Mike came through with that.
Mike is on.
Yeah, we 30 now.
Yo, so let's just jump into it, yo. CJ, you brought this up. This is a good topic to discuss, but what keeps everyone motivated when you're in those dark moments, when you're in those deep waters and you gotta like think of something, some kind of inspiration to draw from? What do you guys look towards?
Yeah, I'll go first. For me, it's a story. Long story short, I remember I was having a conversation with my ex-boss one time, and I basically told him I was going to quit to do my own personal training, become a boxing coach. And he looked at me and he said, "You've tried this before." And he was talking about a sense where I left him a few months, like a year prior, to do something on my own, and it had failed, and I went back to work with him. So it was one of those things. It was like a reminder of my failure. You know what I mean? So anytime I'm in a position where I have to question why I'm doing it, I just remember him saying in my head, "You've tried this before." I'm like, "Nah, I have never tried this before. Not on this level. Not with this energy. Not with this intensity. Not with this focus. I've never tried this before." So that's something that I always like.
So like the doubters,
Yeah. And it's just him. Like it's just, and it's not really him as a person. It's just more of the way he said, like, "You've tried this before." Yeah. As in, like, just work for me, bro. And I'm like, wow. Like, why? And that's the one thing that always keeps me going, man. Always.
So for me, what keeps me motivated is like the reasons why I started. You know, like keeping that in the back of my head. Like, so I come from a underprivileged home. So my mom used to work long hours. You know, we didn't really grow up with money. You know, food was always a problem. You know, I grew up on, you know, eating Mr. Noodles, ramen, gutter. Yeah, I came from the gutter, you know, so I seen it all, and I seen a lot of, you know, we went through a rough patch in life, you know, like, so I seen a lot. I seen my mom struggle, you know, I see both my parents struggle actually, but they were separated. So I had two separate lives. Every 2 weeks I would go to my dad's house, and then when I was with my dad, I was with my mom. So, and being in an underprivileged area, you know, neighborhood, you see a lot, you know, you see the crime, you see a lot of negative energy. So when I'm feeling down and I need that motivation, that sense of motivation, I just refer back to those times, you know, so it keeps me going. Like, it keeps me driven, you know, knowing where you come from. If you know where you come from, you know where you're going, right?
Straight. Yeah.
So till this day, I always said that I want to bring a sense of positivity into the world. I said that on episode 1, you know, like I want to make that change in the world. So when I'm feeling down, I remember why I started. I want to make a big impact in people's lives. I want to transform them. I want to help them become better people. So I know the other side of life, and I can relate to people that are going through that same, you know, experience in life. So and I feel like, you know, fitness is one of those outlets, you know, especially boxing, it's therapy.
Oh yeah.
Right? It's therapeutic. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you ever have them sessions where it's like, you know, this is a therapy?
Yeah, absolutely. Like where's the first place I run to when I'm in a bad mood, right? I go straight to the gym, the boxing gym specifically. You know, I hit that bag, you know, I'm doing pads. You know, my mind is completely focused. It clears my mind, you know. I'm only focused on what I'm doing in that current moment.
Yeah.
And one thing about, you know, not only boxing, but just exercise in general, right? No matter what mood you go into, right, when you're going to that gym, whether you're angry, sad, you never leave that gym feeling the same way.
No, those chemicals start to release, and all of a sudden your chemistry starts to flow nicely, and you're like, you know what? It's not that bad, actually.
There's something about getting like your ass whooped in the gym, whether it's like sweating or like you're so tired that like it humbles you and it makes you feel like, you know what, like life isn't that bad because you just felt like you just went through like war with that workout. Yeah, exactly.
And you finish it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And even the physiology behind, you know, boxing and exercising, right? Like there's a hormone that's released when you're hitting that bag, right? And it just makes you feel much
the environment
better,
too, right?
Oh,
I'm gonna go off that because it's the energy, right?
Energy,
because
absolutely.
when you find yourself maybe in a rut or not motivated, usually it's a byproduct of the environment you're in. So if you're always around people hustling, people working out, people being positive. What you're putting out is what you're getting back.
Yeah. Exactly.
When you're motivated, everybody's on one.
Yeah.
Everything's clicking, but when you're not, so it's the most important, right? You gotta be consistent.
Adding on that,
For sure.
there's a huge saying out there that says, if you want to see where you're going to end up in the next 10 years, look who you're surrounding yourself around. I fell in love with that right there. And that's why my classes, you know, everybody has that similar charisma, you know, has that similar energy. They're all upbeat. It's like I said in the first episode as well, it's infectious. And back to what you're saying about exercise, when you're hitting that bag, when you're hitting the pads, your endorphins are being released. Crazy. That's that happy hormone, right? So you feel naturally just better. So why wouldn't I want to promote that same, you know, way of life to other people that are down on the rocks that I have been when I was young, my family, right?
And that's what drew you to this profession, 100%.
100%.
You see somebody come in, maybe they don't have a lot of confidence or self-esteem, and then you see them in your class, they start talking to other people, they start being positive. Now that's a part of their everyday life.
Exactly.
And their attitude in that 1 hour, twice a week, that influences everything else they do outside of the gym. Now they're coming, they're making relations, they feel good. Everything else they attack after that fucking workout.
Yeah.
You change their character, you change their outlook.
Right.
You know?
And it's
the same for all of us.
And you don't know what people are going through outside of the gym too, right? So there's some people like that come to my gym, they don't leave. You know what I mean? They'll be there 3-4 hours.
Their sanctuary.
Ron, get your hand off the mic. They won't. Yeah, I think that's just, it's causing like some kind of.
Get your hand off the mic.
Hey, yo,
I like to have a firm grip.
You see the mic on the camera? If it's can you see on the back?
Yeah.
Can you flick it? Is it green when you flick it?
No, it's true.
Okay. All right, we good. Okay. Nah, but I could still.
We've been good. We've been good.
You know what I'm saying?
Are we straight?
Okay, we've been good.
Yes, continue.
Oh no, I was just saying, like, you know, some people like don't leave because you don't know what they're going through outside of the gym, right? And like some people, like, you know, their session started at 2:00, they show up at like 1:30 just to sit down and just be there. You get what I'm saying? Then the session's done. They sit there for another 45 minutes just to be there, you know, and you don't realize what you're taking people away from for that moment that you're with them, or for that moment when they're in the gym. So you want to surround yourself with people that work hard. And going back to what you were saying, you know, you're a byproduct of who you're around. Years ago, my little brother came to me and he said, brother, I want to start DJing and start doing sound engineering. So before anything, he started playing the guitar and everything. And I told him, I said, listen, all of your friends have to play an instrument. He's like, what? I'm like, everybody that you're around needs to play an instrument. They need to be a DJ. They need to be a sound engineer. I don't care if they play the freaking flute. Everyone you're around needs to be what you need to be around. And from this day, he's been doing that, and he's had a lot of success. And that's one thing he's always like.
At least be around people doing something.
Doing something. Doing something.
You know what I mean?
Being productive.
Yeah.
Yo,
then you feed off around, right? You're doing something.
Yeah, 100%.
I kind of found this like in my life because I can't lie. I used to just ball up all the time. You know what I'm saying? Ball up, drink. I didn't really care about my body, and then once I kind of like stopped, I realized like, you know, who I really was friends with versus who I was just, balling up with.
And them are only friends with you because you're buying bottles in VIP,
You
got
the
kush,
you got the kush. Exactly. And then you get to this point where it's like, who do I want to surround myself around? And you realize like, you kind of got to be picky with who you share your energy with. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I was kind of complaining to my girl, like, I feel like I don't have friends, but like as you get older, you have less and less friends, you know, but I'm like, once we start this podcast, I'm like, we're like-minded individuals. Everyone's on. We're all in serious relationships. You know what I'm saying? We're not out here like, messing
being in a
around
relationship, it just keeps you focused, right? It's a sense of discipline.
100%.
You know, if you're sleeping around, you're talking to multiple girls, you're
not serious.
That energy all over the place, and their energy is affecting yours, which is not always good, right?
Trust me, it's not about like that instant pleasure. It's more like the long-term discipline. You know,
and a lot of people, and to add on to that too, like think about it. We all come from different backgrounds, but because we all have the same focus in what we do, it's easy when we get into room. Even before we started recording today, how many ideas did we come up with?
We're going through a little debate prior to recording.
We had to actually stop talking to each other because it was just. And guys, it's natural. It's Monday at like 10 a.m. in the morning. So sometimes you don't need friends. You just need people that are doing things in their own lives in order for you to like really grow your own. You know what I mean? And you get addicted to that.
Yeah.
You know, I tell all my friends, you want to come chill with me, come work out.
You know where to find me.
You know
Hey,
what,
buddy,
buddy?
when are we linking up? Buddy, I'm at the fucking
I'm in the gym.
Come
We're also
find
like-
me.
Come chill.
We don't do parties and
Come
all
chill-
that. We don't
come chill
do
and do a
that.
chest
We in the
bump.
gym. This is
I'm
our
doing-
party in here. LFG.
Come chill, do a
You want
chest
to chat every
day.
Tuesday
This
and Thursday?
is our party. This is what we get down. LFG, Ajax Boxing Gym. That's how we party.
Let's go.
Come see us there on a Friday night. How about that?
Yo, even I heard Floyd, like, this man will go to the club, he won't drink or nothing, then he'll run home.
The most
run
fascinating
the
thing I
club,
heard about
like-
Floyd Mayweather. This guy was, adding on to what you just said, he
Yeah.
doesn't drink alcohol, but when he was going to those parties, you think Floyd Mayweather's calling an Uber home?
He's running.
He's running.
Man's running.
No
bro.
way.
He's
Yeah.
running home.
This is fact.
He's
No, it's facts. It's
No.
facts.
He
Search it up.
schedules his life so like his prime energy is like late night for the fights, right? So like he's going to the club late and then he's running home.
Hey, when
Bro,
you
if
talk
you
about
wanna be the
energy for
best,
fights, I'm
it's
going
all
to drop
about
the next
sacrifice,
question.
right?
When
Yeah.
you're ready for it, I'm going
Oh.
to drop the question for
Yes.
energy for fights.
Devin Haney
When you guys ready?
after beating Cambosis went for a 10-15K run the next day.
You guys know.
Right,
And
I
Cambosis
even
is
knew that.
my cousin, bro. I
Yeah.
was rooting for Cambosis.
Hey,
the
Cambosis
whole
is the
time,
GOAT.
bro.
Cambosis is the GOAT.
Number one boxer of all time.
I mean,
Number one pound for pound. Cambosis.
it really comes down to if you really want it, there's no excuse, right? Like if you really want to do what you do and make sure no one else does what you do, then you have to do things that other people are just not willing to do.
Exactly.
So when I hear stories like that, and everyone's like, "Wow, that's amazing," I'm not amazed because
You're like, fuck, I should be
he
running home too.
No, not
Yeah.
me. I don't make it about me. I'm saying,
Especially in the sport of boxing.
That's Floyd Mayweather. He should be
Yeah.
doing that.
Absolutely.
yeah.
Kobe Bryant would be in the gym shooting free throws.
5 a.m., bro.
5 a.m.
Earlier.
Bro, the
5
man
a.m.,
was so
4 a.m.
competitive. Did you hear that story about Tracy McGrady?
Oh, buddy.
Yeah.
Those
That's
guys-
super
those
inspiring.
guys, Michael Jordan used to, and it's funny because
Tell us after.
tell us that one. I remember Michael Jordan on the documentary. He was talking about something, how he motivates himself, and I was like, "Holy shit!" I thought I was the only person that did that. He would talk shit about himself, like he would say, like, "Yo, that guy don't think you could shoot that three. Yo, he don't think he could drive on it. Yo, he don't think you got it. He would tell himself that and it would motivate him. And sometimes I'm like, shit, I do that shit to myself all the time too. I thought it was the weirdest motherfucking thing.
Yeah.
But you have to be able to do things that are kind of weird and unnecessary to do the necessary
That's
work.
Just to get
It's like
ahead,
organized self-doubt so you can prove yourself wrong.
Yeah.
exactly.
Sometimes
Like, fuck them, I'll prove myself wrong.
Sometimes
Not
I'm in
them,
the ring,
bro.
I'm like, oh, this motherfucker don't think he got it. It's okay. Talking to myself, in my
It's
head.
You gotta
empowering.
be strong-minded, though.
Yeah,
Not
just,
drag
just
yourself
hearing
down as you
the
do
word,
it.
the word, just saying it out into the universe, the word's power, so that I can empower you as well. Right?
100%. 100%.
Mike, what were you saying?
We ready for that?
Yeah, ready for that.
Do it.
Okay.
Ready for that?
Semen retention for optimal fighter peak performance.
CJ, you gotta start
Ah.
this one off, bro.
CJ.
Okay, so
I'm,
Please
on day,
explain.
I'm on day 2 right now.
So it started. It was probably years ago. And when I was training and stuff like that, even when I first started training, my coach would be like, "Hey, son, no girls before the fight, no girls before the fight."
crazy.
Or I'd walk in one day and he'd be like, "Hey, why are your legs so shaky, boy? You've been with the girls, blah blah blah." Right? He's always making a joke like that, but it's a real scientifically proven thing that males specifically, when they're not out there ejaculating all over the friggin' place and holding in that semen and holding in that energy, because that's what it is, right?
That chi.
Is it focused or is it studied? Because
it's
on that
stu-
show,
it's-
Sports Science, they proved that wrong.
It's really
Yeah.
Oh,
Did they really-
They had a guy train,
right.
then he went and banged this girl, and then he
Right.
came out and he matched all his numbers. But that was within a span of 1 day. So I don't know if mentally you wait 3 months.
It's a mental thing. Like I've
Different.
practiced it for like 3 months, like
I'm
2-3
looking
months
at
at a time. So
Holy
so I can say so.
the man said 3 months.
But keep in mind.
Tell him what you told us
Keep
earlier.
in mind.
Tell him how earlier.
Hey, keep
Locked in. Tell us how you were locked in.
Keep in mind.
Jesus Christ himself.
Well, think about the discipline that it builds for a man, right? For a man to not
True.
do what his body wants him to do. You got to be in control of that.
Self-control.
That is
We need
self-control.
a bomb.
Self-regulation.
We need a bomb dropping.
Self-regulation.
That's
But
it.
it's not only me.
Some church music.
But it's
in
not.
here.
But it's not only me who practices. There's many athletes
know.
who have done this
Yeah.
and they talk about it, they speak about it. So it's not like it's brand new topic or anything like that. It's just something to try. I always tell guys like try it for 30 days.
No, I always
guys look at me.
I always hear about it.
Guys look at me like this. I remember I
never
told one of my
partake
fighters,
in that.
I'm like, hey, listen, no sex, no nothing for like a month, and they're like, 30 days. I'm like, listen, bro, I've done it for like 90. Like, what are you?
You're some kind of
Wow.
monk to be able to do that,
This guy's a
buddy.
beast.
It takes
Well,
spiritual.
it
Yeah.
takes time, but I'll tell you the mental focus and your muscle builds differently. Your mind is built differently. Your chemistry is at a Dopamine. We have all heard that chemical, right? We live in a world right now where everyone's dopamine levels are super high. Like, we are
Overstimulated.
overly
Like,
stimulated.
even social
For
media
sure.
scrolling
We're
gives you
scrolling.
dopamine rushes.
So
We're all wired.
you need to be able to
A
control
little dose,
that.
yeah,
You need to be able to scale that back, right?
Mm.
People go on vacations and
Yeah.
don't bring their phone.
And that type of mindset and philosophy has been going back since way
back.
No, Shaolin monks,
Right. It's not new.
So I understand what you're saying.
Like it's not new. Like it's not new at all. It's not
Yeah.
new at all.
But they
So
did it with a boxer. With
it's
this
just
guy.
it's just
They
something.
did it
It's
with this
something.
guy.
We're
That's
gonna
amazing.
put the link. We're gonna watch it. We're gonna watch it.
Right here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll set that up for you
And
guys.
well, I mean, you guys do the research for yourself, right? Like, everyone will react to it differently, but the feelings that you'll get and the discipline that you'll build in the long run of sustaining that and keeping that essence, because that's what life is. Like we carry life in the liquid form
Yo,
inside of us.
Is it about the testosterone or is it about, like you said, you not
think it's
fulfilling
more the
a
mentality.
want? Okay.
Both.
Mm.
Both.
And a little bit of everything, right?
does increase
Don't
your
you need
testosterone, though.
But
I
don't you need your
Ah.
testosterone to be replenishing so you know your body's putting it out, your body's making more?
Yeah,
no?
but it goes back to the point where
I gotta look some
where
studies, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're
like some
you have to-
studies.
I hate you with those
but
facts.
it's facts. But the problem is a lot of men they have no control.
Did you win your fights?
They have no control.
That's
I've
why
only
I
had
felt
two,
like
but
it's more of a
I feel more
mentality.
focused.
Did you
I feel
win
more
those?
focused. Yeah, I won though.
Then
I
fucking don't work.
I got again, yeah. Come on now.
It didn't work.
But the point is, even if you're not fighting, even if you're doing it for discipline purposes, you'll feel the control, the self-control.
Yeah.
You'll feel a balance in yourself that you've never felt before.
Like fasting
You know what I mean?
before Easter, for example.
Yeah,
for us,
like
for 4
yeah,
days,
it's
you're
nothing.
you cutting
It's
stuff
nothing.
up for something bigger, right?
It's nothing crazy, right? It's kind of like you were talking about earlier. It's not about the pleasure for right now. It's about the delayed gratification for later. We don't live in a society that understands, or they understand the concept, but the concept of delayed gratification is nothing wrong with it, right? But we live in a world where it's like, no, I want that now. I'll pay for it later. That's why we got Visa cards, MasterCards, Black cards, all this other shit. Because fuck that, I want that shit right now. I've done that. I'm like, I want them pair of Jordans right now.
Discipline's out the window nowadays.
It's out the window.
There's no discipline.
So even if you have,
Rare.
even if you have a microdose, like a small amount of discipline for the most, it could be something as simple as when I wake up in the morning, I don't look at my phone for 2 hours. Even if you have that, you're disciplined.
It goes a long way, bro.
It goes a long way.
Yeah.
No, I definitely hear that.
Yo, I do think, like, even from a logical perspective, like, once you bust a nut, bro, like, you need a couple moments to recuperate. I'm not trying to fight someone, like, right after I nut.
What do they call it?
Unwind.
What do they call it? The post-nut clarity? Yeah. The post-nut
I should
clarity.
be fighting this guy, man.
I should be fighting him. I know I'm too.
No, I definitely see what you're
You know what I
saying with
mean?
that.
So it's just like, listen, we can make jokes about it all the time.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, do some research on it, practice it
It
yourself.
worked for you.
And yeah, it worked
worked
for
for
me.
you.
I might have to try it, you know?
I'm gonna try to
to
do it until the
might have
next
to try.
episode. Like, for this whole week, I'm not gonna nut.
This is the best episode.
I might be on the same thing. I don't know how my girlfriend will be.
All
shit
y'all
about that.
girls watching like this.
I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry, baby. I gotta practice this. You know, I'm trying to get that W. What can I say?
Oh man, I love it though.
Okay, so your overall take is that, like, for your fighters, you recommend them not to nut for like a month.
Yeah.
pretty much.
He monitors them. He texts him.
Did you nut to
You're gonna be busting a nut in it, boy.
Hey, what's your ETA?
You better keep that coil in your pants.
You better not have. I will test your blood, bro. I will
Oh,
test
God.
this shit.
Can you tell though? Can you tell? Like,
No.
say like a
Nah, you
No,
can't be able
you
to.
can't tell. It's a mental thing. It's a mental.
Jake Paul said his trainer could tell that, like, the next day if he did nut, like, he could tell that his performance would be.
I don't
would be
believe that.
off.
Yeah, but I guarantee you that guy's just not busting it out sober.
I
You
disagree.
guys, that guy's there mashed up.
You
I
know.
disagree with that
The
completely.
thing is, the thing is, when you do it, and don't try it for a week. You have to try it for a certain amount of time, so your body chemistry can balance out. Because that goes through a weird imbalancing. There's days where you're super like you're tense and you're sitting like this. Anybody who does it, you're like what? And then there's another day where you're just like this. You're exhausted, right? So you have to allow your body to kind of like balance out
to it.
Right.
Yeah.
But
It goes through some withdrawal.
right? But once you get the level right. Once you get to this level where you're so focused and you're in the ring, it's like you could smell when he's gonna punch. You could smell the sweat before it comes. You could feel the jab before it comes. You could feel all your.
It's like you have ultra instinct. You're saying,
Yo,
Oh, yeah,
Goku
you're full of
shit.
semen, bro.
Yo,
You got
Goku
that-
shit.
you're full.
It's twitchy.
Listen, you're full of everything that gives life. Think about that.
It's like
Oh.
a hungry lion
Whoa,
versus
whoa,
like a
whoa,
comfortable
whoa,
lion.
Oh,
bombs.
You're full of
everything.
Hey, he's not lying. He's
You're
not
full
lying.
of. Do the reason. You're
There's
full
billions
of
of lives in
You're
him.
full of everything that gives life.
You're not just
So
fighting one. You're fighting a few billion.
Yeah.
You're fighting
Trust it.
You know what I mean? So it's a crazy feeling. It's a crazy feeling.
Speaking on like what you recommend to your fighters, I always wonder when I watch an MMA or boxing fight, like what do these guys eat? And how long before their fight do they eat? And like, what are they consuming? Are they caffeinating themselves? Are they drinking coffee? Like, what kind of diet do you recommend right before a fight? Like,
And that's
especially like their pre-fight meal.
So it's such a what is it? Subjective or objective? It's such a subjective thing. But at the basis is eating natural and eating clean isn't that hard, but it's boring.
It is. I see your stories when you just brown rice,
broccoli, and chicken, and it's
limit those carbs. Yeah, limit those carbs as
boring.
well, especially if you're trying to shred weight.
If you're trying to shred, you got to limit the carbs. But I always tell people,
cutting off sugar.
I've had a few people that like it depends. Are we trying to sustain the weight that we're already at, or are we trying to drop weight, or are we trying to gain weight? Those are three very different elements and three different ways of eating. Now I'm no nutritionist, but from the ones that I've talked to, and the one I have the one. Shout out to my boy Steven who gave me a nutrition plan.
I see you eating yesterday. Look proper, clean.
Yeah,
super clean.
And when people
crazy, bro.
Yeah, and when people when people don't know, is that I'll go to Burger King, I'll smash a burger after that. Because sometimes I did actually. Because sometimes your body needs a little bit of both. Yeah. But that's my body. I've been training like this.
You can control that too, right?
You know what works. I know what works for me.
Yeah, you understand. I can get up on a day and be like, I'm just gonna eat clean for this week, and then on a Friday I'll smash a dirtiest, just the dirtiest burger. I'm not even going to like a high. Like if I'm gonna go to the bottom of the barrel, I'm going to the bottom of the barrel, picking up the nasty shit. I'm going to like Burger King or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I know my body.
You understand?
I can't recommend that for everybody.
95% of the time you're good.
95% of the time I'm
some
good.
People I had a burger today and they have it every day and they don't deserve that.
And some people
want to be a certain way, you can't be like that.
Yeah, and some people will come to me and train with me and they'll be like, "Oh man, I got to work off this burger." I'm like, "Bro, you work on me like 4 times a week. You can have a burger."
Yeah, absolutely.
Like chill.
Sometimes your body needs that like extra salt, extra sugar.
It needs a little bit of bad stuff as well too, right? And so going back to your point about what fighters need to eat,
pre-fight meal.
They have pre-fight. It depends on what I always say is whatever you've been eating during your camp is what you should eat prior to a fight.
Oh, like don't switch it up.
Don't switch it up randomly.
That can mess
Stick
up
to
your
what
body.
you know.
Stick to what you know. Stick to what you've been doing.
Yeah.
I got one more quick question to feed off of that is what's your ideal fighting weight compared to what you're weighing in at? So if you're fighting 155, what are you actually walking into the fight weighing at? You want to be a bit above or a bit below? What do you look? Because some people, especially MMA, they'll clock in at 200 and they're fighting at fucking 220.
That depends on the fighter.
Or is it subjective as well?
Yeah, that's
subjective. It depends on
you personally.
I remember when I first started, I was like 16, 17. I walked into the gym and I was probably like 170 pounds, but I was like, and I walked in and the Mexican coach, Carlos, he goes, my friend, you're too big. Too big.
Right away, you know.
I'm like, what do you mean too big? He goes, boxing, no maso. Smart, fast.
Weigh you down, eh?
And because it weighs you down.
So
I think it's too much like quick twitch. Like even like someone,
you need the fastest muscle. So it depends. Like I always tell taller guys, if you're like 180, you could drop like 5 pounds. But this goes into something else, and I could be wrong. So someone's probably gonna call me on it. But if you drop more than 5 pounds, the chance of you getting knocked out is higher because your water in your brain.
Your brain's dehydrated, right?
Yeah,
so
something like that. It's easier to knock out. So you have to be very careful within that 5 pound radius. So you don't want to lose more than 5 pounds, especially like if you're dropping it like fast. If you're dropping it,
if you're dropping it fast, it's definitely not healthy for you. You're prone to knockouts.
You see this a lot with MMA fighters where they'll try to do these big weight cuts so they have an advantage on fight day, like they replenish.
Yeah.
Okay.
What did I say?
But we'll be right back. We'll be right back for our sponsor. Yeah, it's recording.
We got 1% chance for Camboso?
No, because either Tank or Devin, one of those guys are going undefeated.
What if Camboso doesn't bust a nut from his last boss? Then we got a chance?
We'll know by the 11th round if he's still got some juice in him.
Yo, we're back at it like crack addicts, JabNSlip TV. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Yo, let's just start the conversation.
Let's get right into
Top 5
it.
boxers of all time.
Dead or alive.
No weight classes. Pound for pound.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Ronnie.
Hold up. Before we get into this, are we evaluating this on prime fighters, right? Like at the best shape of their career, top notch, or are we doing it over the span of their whole career?
I think we should
overall. Prime is a small percentage of their career.
Maybe we'll do a future top 5. So like we're looking back at this, call the top 5 and see if they make it. We'll call some people who are a little bit new.
Okay, and the next thing, are we starting from 5 or are we starting from 1?
Mine are
no order.
Oh,
no order.
Yeah, mine aren't really in order like that.
No order. Right?
All right, so we're gonna go one by one,
Yeah,
or
let's start with CJ.
All right.
Okay, my top 5, 100%. I'm gonna call him out first, Muhammad Ali. Just for not only what he did in the ring.
This is not order, right?
Look at the shirt. Look at the shirt. Look at the shirt.
Hey,
Look at the shirt.
like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Okay, but
it's
it's not only what he did in the ring at the time, but what he did outside the ring. And he was a revolutionary, and he stood for people. The man was gonna get drafted, bro. Man was going to war. Man said, "You're not sending me to war." Man sat in prison.
Yeah. The philanthropist as well.
Yeah, just his story alone and how he impacted the community, the Muslim community. And he came out to be one of the best boxers and one of the most important figures of our time. You know what I mean? Outside of the ring. So definitely my top 5, Muhammad Ali.
Okay.
That's your 5? All right. Ronnie, who's your 5th?
No, he's on my 5.
That's why I thought we were doing in order. I have mine in order.
That's me.
Okay, where would you put him though? Where would you put him?
I put him
on the fly.
I put him at number 1.
Okay, that's big.
I put him at my
All right, so next up for me, so my number 5, I'm starting with 5. I'm going with Muhammad Ali.
Okay.
All right,
that's okay.
I have to put him number 5. He's there, of course.
That's okay.
Obviously, adding on to what CJ said for what he did outside the ring, civil rights activist. He's a great. He showed what it means to be like truly relentless. You know what I mean? In that ring,
Confident.
That confidence. That mental prowess.
How about his fighting style? Like, what about Ali's fighting style do you guys like?
Very, very light on his feet. For us, a heavyweight, right?
Yeah.
Very
Big
light
guy,
on his feet, bro. He's very elusive as well.
Yeah,
he used his length to his advantage. Look at his wingspan, fighting very well off his back feet as well, and his head movement, his movement in general, is beautiful, bro.
And I think what also made him the greatest is that he'd beat you before you get in the ring. He would talk so much. He would talk so much shit.
And that's what George Foreman said about him.
He'd be talking to George Foreman. Yeah. Well, you can't.
That's what he told George Foreman. You hit like a woman.
You'd be like, yo, you can't hit me.
And George Foreman
whacking him. They're whacking him.
He lost the fight just because George Foreman, he lost his composure, right?
Once you lose your composure, that's it. And Floyd takes a lot of pages.
Oh, we'll get to Floyd. Ali took George Foreman out of his element. So as CJ just said, like he literally breaks you down mentally.
Mental warfare.
And obviously when your mental goes, the cerebral assassin, bro.
Cerebral assassin.
And when your mental goes, obviously
everything else goes.
Everything goes. Because boxing is a chess game, right? It starts from the mind.
Okay, so we both got Muhammad Ali in our top 5.
So I'm putting him 5.
Okay,
he's a pioneer.
He's a pioneer.
He opened the way to other black fighters and boxers in general, right?
Okay.
What do you have, Mike?
Tyson Fury.
Hey,
that's not a terrible choice, man.
You can't put Tyson Fury.
Watch any of his fights and then backtrack to him talking before the fight.
I feel like he has to prove himself against usage first.
Yeah, he's sick. I love the guy. I know he's sick.
What do you mean?
He's come up in his 3 fights, heavyweight division.
I don't think he needs to prove himself.
I feel like he needs to prove himself in order.
I think
the rush to goated.
He doesn't need to be goated.
He needs one more.
He doesn't need to be.
So you think it's Usyk? What if it's
what if it's Anthony Joshua?
I just feel like he's
Joshua.
What if Joshua?
No, he's taking care of Joshua easy. That's light work.
Joshua's fighting. Joshua's not fighting anybody else but himself.
He needs to take that fight with Fury though. If he wants to put himself back on the map, now is the fucking
that fight with Ruiz, right?
He
broke down mentally. That's why I know he's not beating Tyson Fury mentally.
Because when
he feels invincible right now.
Because when he fought when Anthony Joshua fought Klitschko, that was sick. That was sick.
But if Ruiz came back with a better mentality and he was humble after the win, he would have beat Joshua again.
Yes, but that goes back to our conversation in the beginning. What do you do when you go from 0 to 100 real quick?
Yeah, but he came back around now, so at least he has some kind of character, right?
Yes. Now he's getting Ruiz has
Fury in top.
Ruiz has the fastest hands.
He's a heavyweight who's never lost, and it's not about
Ruiz has the fastest hands as a heavyweight. The fastest.
Yeah.
He's got the best hands.
Fury's one of the best head movement at that fucking weight too.
He has
better head movement. He has great footwork.
Fury
and footwork.
Fury has great IQ.
Mm-hmm.
He's never lost. He's never gonna lose, and he's never lost here, man.
No, because
even when he
you know why? Because he beat himself here already.
This is a different era, though.
He already went to the bottom.
This is a different era for boxing, though.
But think
if
about
you place Tyson Fury in that era with Lennox Lewis, Evander Holyfield,
So right now,
Mike
do you think
Tyson,
there's
where are you putting him there?
Right now, do you think there's
Where are you putting him there with those guys?
But that's where
what
that's
I
where
We can't
lines
answer
get
that, though.
that we can't answer.
No.
That's where lines get crossed.
Stylistically,
and that's where
Styli-
that's where the topic becomes
Well,
absolutely
if we're-
universal. Where it's like,
Well,
okay,
if we're
well, what
evaluating all time, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying
Right?
we can't put the.
Right?
Right now, is there any good heavyweights in your eye? Because none of them have beat Tyson Fury.
Tyson Fury and Usage. This era, that's why I had to play.
Hey.
That's why I asked you that question.
I think it's all.
Camera
Okay,
check.
you can hear our voice. Put Tyson Fury knocking people out over us talking right now. Just
That
fucking
actually hilarious.
waking up from the dead, bro. Put that
That
fucking clip waking
that
up
actually
from the dead.
hilarious. Okay, so yours Tyson
You
Fury.
sick? I want to see that. That's where we're ending that
That'll
one.
be a beautiful fight.
Okay.
It'll be
If
very
he
close.
beats Usyk, you're saying he's in your top 5 or just higher in your top 10? Number
Higher in my
6.
top 10.
Number 6.
Number 6.
Maybe.
Number
This guy
6.
just
Maybe 7. Maybe
This guy just
7.
boxing there. Okay, so
yeah.
for the second person in my top 5, definitely I'd have to say Andre Ward. Andre Ward, I believe he was one of the most.
I'm not putting him in my
he was the
top
most
five.
tactical fighters
Yeah, in terms
of his time, and he didn't get. He has a few injuries, but his wins were not only
He was a Pierce.
stylistically. He's a very
He's a
pure
Pierce,
boxing.
but how about longevity?
His IQ is crazy.
I'll give you that in his prime. He's
In his
definitely in my
prime,
top 5.
right?
Longevity.
And I take a lot from him when it comes to lead hand control. I think he was like the father of that shit. No one did it like him. He would beat you every round that he could just by stepping back, stepping here, small steps, and he beat you small.
He's very what I like about Andre Ward is he's very composed fighter.
And
Very relaxed
and
fighter.
it's not
He's
like-
a fundamentalist.
Yes,
you know
and
what
it's
I mean?
not like he fought bums. Like he fought them. Like he fought good, solid fighters in their prime, and they were
exactly. He didn't dodge anybody.
There were wars. He didn't dodge nobody.
100%.
So Andre Ward is in my first top 5.
Yeah.
And again,
I'm not putting Andre Ward in my top 5, but I can see why.
Who else you got?
I can see why you put him in your top 5.
Who else you got?
So for my fourth, I'm going
This guy had
with.
to look in his phone. He's been ready. For
Oh
this.
yeah, 100%.
No,
I can't leave
He's been ready.
bits of detail. Now
been
you're
ready.
He was looking at my notes. That's
I know
Yeah,
he wasn't.
sure, I'm
doing
gonna look
anything.
at those notes now with freaking Tyson Fury.
number 6, bro.
No. Hey, no. Maybe top 10, maybe. All right. So for my fourth, I have Roberto Duran.
Top 5.
Roberto Duran.
Top 5.
100%. 100%.
wouldn't-
Hey, if you're top,
I wouldn't put him in the top 5.
where are you putting him then?
I put him in my top.
Yo, are you putting Sugar Ray in your top 5?
Top 50.
Oh, we'll
Top-
get there. I hope Sugar Ray's not in your top 5.
Sugar Ray's not
because-
in my top 5, but
Whoa, wow.
Roberto Duran's not in my
Roberto
top 5 either. So, but
It
again,
sounds like you haven't watched enough Roberto Duran. in my
Wow,
opinion.
what about Roberto
Stylistic-
Duran? Like makes you want to put him in the top
Bro.
5?
Over Tyson Fury.
Especially
No, pound for pound. This guy went from a lightweight to fight Sugar Ray at welterweight. All right,
yes.
beat him down, and that was in his prime. This is Sugar Ray we're talking. He's basically known as the one of the 4 kings, and potentially one of the best. But Duran in that first fight, beat him down.
I'm gonna go home and watch
Came
this fight
forward.
tonight.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna go home and watch. This fight.
reflexes were sharp. The footwork was there. Head movement was there. This guy,
What
he's
fight am I
known for.
watching? What fight am I watching?
You're watching Duran.
Duran versus
Sugar Ray Leonard won.
Okay.
Right? This
Talk
guy's
about next
hand,
week.
he's known for hitting so hard. They referred to him, I forgot the actual name, but they say his hands.
Hands of stone.
Yeah, hands of stone, exactly.
Hands of stone.
Bro, stylistically, I just found that Duran, he's a top 5, fighter.
He's
what I mean? Like,
relentless.
yeah, 100%. Head movement.
what I
he
like
has the
about-
footwork, he was very
What I do
balanced
like,
overall.
what I do like about his style is that he was balanced. He was aggressive but controlled aggression. And once he turned it on, it was hard for you to rebuild and get back your rhythm against Roberto Duran because
and
of
his feints. His feints were deadly.
He worked his feints really well too.
Even though he had those hands of stone,
But really,
I would say that
in your top
I'm putting
5,
him in my top 5.
Look at my
100%.
face.
100%.
I'm not even.
100%.
I'm not even-
Duran in my top 5, bro. Who do you have, Mike?
Mike Tyson. For
I
you,
was
it's
just
before
thinking Iron
King.
Mike.
For
Not
this guy
Only
loves the
because he said,
heavyweights.
"I'll fuck you till you love me." And if you think that, you're in my top 5. Huh? If you can say that with confidence, you're an animal.
Yo!
But you like him before King, right?
He also
What?
told
You like him before his second
Tyson
coach.
also told Razor Reddick, "I'm gonna make you my girlfriend," and kissed him.
There
He
you
went,
go.
"I'm gonna make you my," and he
Bro.
said it with the Mike Tyson. "I'm gonna make you my girlfriend."
Ronnie,
I'm not
is he in your top five?
I'm not putting.
Tell us
no,
why not.
Mike Tyson is not in my top 5
Why
because
not?
he lost all of his biggest fights. But Mike Tyson in his actual prime, though,
Which was when?
that is he's in my top 10 for sure. But just due to the fact that he lost all of his major fights, I can't put him in my top 5. A real champion is supposed to those
Win in those
the
moments.
biggest fights exactly. They're supposed to win in those
Tyson
moments.
Tyson was a great boxer. I think Tyson
He was a
is
freak
the
of nature. There'll never
Tyson
be
is
another
the
Mike Tyson.
Tyson is the epitome of when you have an amazing coach that understands the psychology of the game.
Mhm.
He took an animal and learned how to control that.
Yeah.
Now Tyson was a great boxer,
He's a top 5 talent.
but he was a better fighter. If that makes any sense.
Mhm.
He was a great fighter.
Brawler.
But like technically
Brawler,
on the
but
boxing
technically on the
side,
boxing side, if you took him to deep waters, a lot of guys,
I don't
he had
pick him
trouble.
apart.
That's what, yeah. they
yes,
pick him
yes,
apart.
yes.
That's why Lennox
Exactly.
Lewis would pick him apart.
Mike
like
Tyson
that,
was
pick him
literally
apart.
trying to go in there and end it in
He
the
was trying
first
to end
few
it in the
rounds.
first round.
If you took him, if you made him fight the distance, then you didn't have much of it.
I
He wasn't
remember-
trained to fight that way.
Right.
So I get what you're saying in terms
Right.
of that.
Yeah, his IQ is a psychological game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Tyson, you would go in the ring with Tyson,
His
and
focus,
Mans
yeah.
would
His
say
style.
they were already.
But
they
in
were
terms
already-
of his actual his fighting ability and his style, the way he's knocking you out, I feel that that's pretty.
Yes.
He's pretty sharp
Yes.
at that.
Yes.
He's intimidating too. I feel
He's
like
setting
his
up
stance is
he's setting up
crazy
to the
too.
body, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
His famous
peekaboo
combination
style.
with
Yeah,
that body
peekaboo
hook
style.
Right.
and that uppercut to the chin, right? So
When I first started
I wonder
watching,
who
like
dubbed it
fighting,
the peekaboo style because
Yo,
Cuss
yeah.
never said it was a peekaboo style.
I felt like it's such an effective like stance to approach someone because it's equal like defensive and offensive,
Yes,
and
it
it's
looks
like
right
low
up.
and it's tight. And
You're always
it's just,
loaded. You're always loaded.
it was super effective because of
Yes,
his
you're
footwork.
always loading
Yeah,
up
and
your
his
hips.
footwork was crazy.
Like
He
Mike
jumped from
Tyson,
one
for
side
a
of
big
me.
guy, you're so light on his feet. So I feel like that peekaboo stance, it depends on the type of fighter.
So
it was.
remember,
Yeah.
you fight the way you train. If you watch any of Tyson's
You see his
training
footwork,
videos,
angles.
he would do the exact same thing over and over and over and over again. And
Repetition.
that's how he fought.
Mhm.
Period.
That's what it is. It's all repetition, exactly.
He would jab
like you
slip.
said, like you
You
said
know
in
what
the
I mean?
first episode, right? The way you train,
The way you train is the way you
how you're
fight.
gonna execute in the ring, right?
Mhm.
And if you look at Mike Tyson, it's always footwork and he's finishing off on the angle.
Yeah.
Body, head.
Tyson's good for
Top 5 talent for sure, but
No, you're top 5.
oh,
right?
yeah, overall, I'm
No,
not putting him in the top
How
5.
many of your
Just
top 5
because
do
he,
you have? You said 2 of your top 5.
Yeah,
said
I'm about to say
we're
my
on our
final
third.
You didn't say any.
I'm staying. I'm more
My
MMA.
standards, I'm out with you.
Yeah,
I said Camboso, I said Fury, I'm out. Let's listen to them boys.
Okay, so just to recap. So right now you got Ali.
I got Ali, I got Andre Ward, and my third one is James Tony.
Okay.
Okay, I can see that.
Master James Tony.
I can see that.
I know you know James Tony.
Masterclass, Philly show.
I mean, we're talking when we're talking about the Philly game, and again, that's another term that was dubbed from somebody because it's not actually considered the Philly show. It's actually made in Detroit. But what he did and how he utilized it was so easy.
You hear Philly show, you think
Yeah.
of Mayweather, right?
Well, yeah,
most part,
for the most part. But you go
Because
back,
he refined it and mastered it. That's what you think of
yeah,
Mayweather.
that's a different conversation.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's
All right.
But James Tony, his ability to use his opponent's offense against them and almost stay right in the line of fire, just small head movements, small
Exactly.
turn of the shoulders, and come back with a short uppercut, short right hand, left hook. It was beautiful to watch. And if you watch a lot of his fights, he would just wear you down because you couldn't really hit him. Like he'd be standing right in front of you, and man's jabs are just going over his
Yeah,
shoulder.
exactly.
That was
Timing,
one of the
shoulder
fighters,
roll.
right?
Huh?
That wears you out. Like trying to hit someone you can't land.
yeah.
up.
Oh,
Can't say
yeah.
nothing.
Just
else.
mentally,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Mentally, because you lose your
I mean,
composure.
we can compare
and
it
then you
to
start
women,
wilding
yeah.
out, and you
I mean,
you exert
you
a
figure
lot
the
more
character
energy,
out.
and
Yeah, you try to shoot your shot and you miss in 10 times. You get a little tired
Yeah,
after a while,
exactly.
right?
And they're
So-
waiting for that moment. That's
Yes.
how.
Pick you up.
Yo,
with
Ronnie,
that Philly
speaking
show.
on that style, like I remember I asked you about it, like when we were at Warren and St. Clair, and you're like, "Yo, like, kind of gotta like be not a little advanced for that." Like,
Yeah,
to be
I
able to
always
do
feel that you should learn the traditional style before
Mhm.
you transition into another
Good point.
style. You must understand the fundamentals before you start breaking the laws.
Good point.
What's
that's
the
why-
advantage of that Philly style?
Well, number one, you're a little more bladed in your stance. Your lead shoulders directed toward your opponent. One of the disadvantages that your rear hand is slightly further away from your opponent, but it forces you to rotate your hip and rotate your back foot to really have that full rotation and get the full power, right? When you're in the traditional boxing stance, your left hand's a little close to your face, and people do that for a multitude of reasons. One, because they just want to land it quicker, right? But you lose, right? You want to snap, but you're losing a lot of the power. You're losing a lot of mobility. The good thing about the Philly shell as well, too, when it's done correctly, it's very hard to hit. Now, you could break it down. We can talk about how we break it down.
It has to be, you have to be able to time shots.
Oh, yeah. Straight
you're
punches
prone,
don't work.
just think of it when you're in that guard. You're prone to that overhand right. So if you're not timing that overhand right, your chin's right here.
You gotta be
right.
your
shoulder's not catching that shot in time.
Right. So some guys, that's a good point.
Right?
Some guys will actually use the Philly shell, but not know how to use the Philly shell. That makes sense.
That's what I mean.
They'll just go into the form.
To this, you know what I mean?
They'll go into the form because they see Floyd doing it, but they don't understand.
They don't even understand the body mechanics.
Minute body mechanics of how to utilize defense. So going back to James Toney now, you guys watch any of his clips? He would do it so easily. Like he was
so sound,
and he was just
sound.
Boom, boom. Now there's a I know I'm ranting about this, but I really stop. Mustafa, I believe he has gyms in like Atlanta or something like that. All of his students use this style.
He's Mac truck.
Yes. And if you watch all of his students, they all do this style.
Yeah.
It's more energy efficient, right? You have more power on your back foot, sorry. And you can utilize your head with defense.
Smart counters too, right?
Different counters for different positions, right? That's really what it is. So you can be in the high guard or whatever and still kind of do a catch and pull. But when you're in the Philly, you're more bladed.
You're more elastic as well. I feel like.
Shout him out because he puts a lot into the youth and a lot into his fighters. He's a great coach.
One of the best coaches that I'm watching. He also has a lot of content you guys can check out as well too. I've had a few coaches that have helped me in me, like, you know, practicing the style or whatever, and they go to him directly, and he'll like send them. They'll like send him videos of them shadow boxing.
Yeah. James the Beast also was training with him too.
Really?
Like as an animal.
Like that's the thing. And then in the States, the style is different. The majority of the style in the States is the Philly shell, or you know,
dropping that lead hand,
and your rear hand's in front of your chin. That's their style. Right, and it's European style that's very like.
I find that Canadian boxers, like, we're the only country that doesn't have their own style. You know what I mean? You see with the Ukrainian, they have all that high guard. You know what I mean? Obviously, you know, the Mexicans, they're coming forward, they're working the body, they're trying to outbrawl you. You know what I mean? Then you have the Cuban style with the footwork, switching stances. Do you feel like Canada has their own style?
Yeah, I think Canada has their own style in every genre. It's just that nobody believes that. You know what I mean? Like. Yeah, Canada has their own sound in music. Canada has their own feel in fashion. We have our own everything. It's just everyone else looks everywhere else. Do you get what I'm saying?
Is our boxing system, just like you said, the systems that are in place for everything, maybe our boxing system isn't as good or advanced as other places, or just quantities in there?
Like
everywhere in Cuba has a boxing system.
Exactly. To be recruited and stuff, because that's where all the biggest training. That's where the names are.
That's where the lights, camera, and action.
Yeah, the Mayweather gyms, you know, the Golden Boy, you know, all that. That's where it is. So. For sure.
We're the future. We're the future of that.
Oh yeah, 100%, no doubt. We're coming, We're coming for all of you guys. Make sure you're ready.
We can always set up those foundations here as pure.
We're gonna be. I guarantee you, when like boxing gets big, we're gonna be the commentators.
Make sure you guys remember this. Yeah, make sure you guys remember this. That
guy whacked off.
Remember that name, JabNSlip. Remember that name.
Yo, this guy's killing me, man. This guy's gonna go home. See more attention. CJ says yes. Oh shit, he's right. Oh shit! Exit! My bad.
Yo, make sure you guys subscribe on this channel. More content coming. Anyways, back to James Toney.
James. I would, but I'm not gonna do it right now. But James Toney's definitely in my top 5, 100%.
All right, right. So now we're at number 2 in the top
3.
5?
He's
number
3.
Sugar Ray Leonard.
Yeah, that's a good one.
If you guys don't have Sugar Ray Leonard on your list, it's a problem.
He's in my top 10.
No, you can't do that. Sugar Ray, one of the most complete boxers of all time.
Yes, I'd agree.
All right.
I agree. Hey, he's got
quick hands, light on his feet. He had power. He's able to set up his shots very well. All right, one of the 4 kings.
That boy would throw 10 punches.
The only reason he lost to Duran because he was fighting Duran's game. which is up close in the pocket.
That's also
When
Durant's
Sugar-
style. That's also
that is
that's also what
Durant's
Durant
style.
does.
Durant did beat him.
That's also what
Durant
does.
came back to what I was saying with Durant. He came from lightweight
Yes.
to beat Sugar Ray. So he
Yes.
came up and he beat
And
Sugar Ray to
he
get
beat
strong.
Sugar Ray. That's tough.
Right?
That is tough.
I got it. And he
Shout out
fought-
to you. I'm gonna watch that fight tonight.
Bro, you never watched that fight. If you don't put Durant in your top five, you never watched that fight.
You know. Sometimes you watch
Mike,
fights, but
you gotta watch the fight.
I got homework. You didn't watch the fight.
You guys gotta do your homework.
I just said I didn't watch.
I do my homework every night. All right, so
We're gonna
Yeah,
get
so-
rough to the comments. How these guys boxing?
Roberto Durant
and they don't watch that fight.
Hey,
How dare they?
yeah, we missed a few.
It's
Okay,
like,
so-
yo, chill, bro.
But yeah, Roberto Duran. Yeah, so he beat Sugar Ray in the first fight. The only reason why Sugar Ray lost that fight is because he was fighting Duran's fight. But as you haven't seen yet in the second fight,
How much?
Sugar Ray, he came back and he started fighting at range. He started using his feet, popping that jab. He went back to what he knew, and obviously he won that fight. He beat Hagler, one of the most notorious middleweights of all time.
He is a
Right?
fire.
That says a lot about.
Yeah.
Hagler was knocking every single person out, and first of all,
on Southpaw.
Right?
Southpaw.
yeah, Southpaw and Sugar Ray, he came back, right? After he came out of retirement and took out Marvin Hagler, exactly. Marvelous Marvin Hagler and Tommy Hearns. So
That's a
you gotta
pretty.
give it to-
That's
yeah,
a pretty
absolutely.
Good,
You
that's
have
a
to
pretty
give it
good
to
top. That's a
Sugar.
pretty good top.
And
three.
fun fact, he destroyed Floyd Mayweather's pops there, right? And he was using the Philly shell guard.
Oh
He
yes,
beat him
yes,
down.
yes.
So yeah,
Because
Sugar
the
Ray,
one-
I would say he's the most complete fighter, man. Pound for pound, he's definitely top 5 on my list.
So quick
100%.
tip on that because he did beat Floyd's father. So the one way to beat the Philly,
Floyd Senior.
or not beat the Philly, but to break down the shell is to overwhelm it offensively,
Especially with the
Because-
right hand.
right? Because
Boom, boom,
eventually
boom.
the Philly shell only is extremely useful when there's only 2 to 3 shots coming its way because you know
Yes,
exactly
you gotta overwhelm
what
them,
to
yeah.
do. Pop, pop,
Boom.
pop. But when you start throwing 1, 2, 3,
And even that
3, 2,
jab,
3,
even that
and you
sh-
start working it,
yeah.
then the Philly starts to break down a little
Even
bit.
that
and you
jab
can
to the
overwhelm
body
them.
and over top, you gotta
Right.
overwhelm them with those kind of shots. So I
Right.
definitely agree with
But
what
some of
you're
the best guys have distance control too. So when you have the Philly and distance control, it's hard. That's where Mayweather.
What style did Plant have versus Canelo?
What's that with the plan? I'd have to rewatch the fight.
You watched that because didn't he have
He
that?
took a lot. Yeah, he was using a
He
Philly
had
shot.
that.
He was using
Yeah,
a Philly
he
shot
was
style.
using-
He fought very smart.
Yeah,
fought-
yeah.
He did. He did.
He was
But
using,
then
he's
he
utilizing,
did.
utilizing
He
a lot of
broke down,
angles. Yeah, you could tell that he studied.
Well, it looked like
Floyd
Canelo. It
Mayweather.
looked like Canelo just said, "I'm ready to go home." Like it looked like he just like turned it up.
One
But
mistake Plant made and then he got
He
it.
had-
And
he had-
then he came with the
yeah,
overhand right.
Overhand
He
right.
got
That
it.
was it. Well, because he was walking down.
Broke him down, bro.
He was moving around the entire ring the whole time against Canelo. Bop,
I
bop,
feel like he
bop.
could have had some more output on offense, so a little bit, I
It's
feel like
serious.
Canelo got too.
Canelo-
I feel like Canelo got too comfortable with Floyd Mayweather. Canelo was on his toes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, we need to
So-
stop comparing the Canelo that fought Mayweather and the Canelo that
that's
is now.
fighting now.
Because Canelo has never been the same.
Floyd
fighter
Mayweather's
since
still gonna
Mayweather.
whip his ass if that were to happen again.
but why?
I understand, but
why would we want to see
I
that?
understand that, but yeah.
Who wants
But
to
Floyd
see that?
Mayweather, yeah.
Who wants to see that fight now? Like
Canelo in your top 5?
Oh, we'll get there. We'll see.
Oh, we'll see. Sorry.
We got 2 more left in your top 5?
Yeah, I
we
got
got
Mike's.
Mike's up next. We're third.
Mike, you
I
can't say
named 2 already?
Yeah,
I thought Jesse Camboso was all 5.
I was
Tyson Fury.
Okay, I said Mike. Okay, let's go. I go with Canelo.
Canelo.
Love that guy. I watch
Canelo-
the guy train before I go to sleep just to motivate him.
Canelo's an
Yeah,
amazing fighter. He's an amazing
100%.
fighter.
Every fight he comes out, I feel like he's adapted and implemented something new. And he's
Yeah, I would disagree with that.
yeah.
Totally. He's the same. He's the same fighter, but he just does it really, 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 really well.
Does he get better every fight?
I wouldn't say.
I would say
I think
he
he
he's
made
a changed fighter, but not to a high degree.
not to a higher
Okay.
degree. Yeah,
He made some slight
he
changes
got-
to his head movement. He added the head movement.
Oh yeah, he
And he's now
moves.
setting up shots more.
That boy,
he's more
moves now.
elusive.
He's more elusive.
Okay.
He's more-
And who created that? Who helped him create that?
He's what?
Floyd Mayweather.
yeah, well, he went back and
Transformed this whole
well,
game.
he went
Look
back
at the fight pre-Mayweather and look at post-Mayweather.
right because a loss will teach you a
Changes
lot.
Exactly, and you lose more. You
Right.
learn more in
Do
field.
you like the move he did fighting Bivol? What was his name?
Bivol whipped his
Bivol?
ass. Bivol whipped his ass.
Do you think
and it
that
wasn't close.
does that do anything to
No.
Canelo's career? No,
No.
right? Because he
No.
went up to
He went up to fight the
Yeah.
best.
So he went back down.
If Bivol was to come down and fight Canelo, then
Different
that'd
story.
be a
and
different story
Bivol
at his weight.
and Bivol's
I think
also
still Bivol-
and
Bivol would whip his ass. Stylistically, Bivol whipped his ass.
And Canelo did some very interesting.
Relax.
Canelo changed a
Fundamentals.
few things in his camp. Like he was vegan for that fight. which I thought was a little.
I think that actually messed him up.
For the Bill
I didn't
fight.
know
Man, what the fuck is that? Actually,
He went
you've
vegan.
been winning eating meat, bro. Why would you do that?
I don't know.
Going up
I don't
in
know.
weight.
I don't know. I just think it's weird. Like I just think like if you've
Nothing
been
against
eating,
vegans.
it's kind of like it's not nothing against it. I just feel like if you've been eating meat for all your fights and you're the best,
Why would
like
he
why?
We want a rematch, and we want him eating fucking meat. And we want him keeping it in his pants, and he's gonna fucking that fight's yours.
Have a steak.
I have a
Is
steak.
he your top 5?
Hey, we'll get there.
We're here, bro. I just said his name.
He's not in my.
What the
Sorry.
fuck?
Wow. These guys are
Sorry. I'm sorry. The guy that whipped his ass. The guy that whipped his ass is though. The guy that schooled him is though.
Who?
Schooled Canelo.
Bibble?
Come
Is
on,
he
man.
top five?
Come on, man.
I don't know. We
Come on,
talking
let's
about
not be foolish here.
Pretty boy.
Let's not be foolish here.
Mayweather.
I will get there though.
That's the
Okay,
story.
so I'm on number four.
We're number 2, I guess, on your list.
Okay,
right?
fine.
I don't know if you're not going in order.
I'm not going in order.
Oh, okay.
Me and Ryan probably gonna fight now.
All right, let's go.
Definitely, I have to say Crawford.
Okay, what do you mean fight?
Crawford is definitely in my top 5. I think he is. The
I have a problem with who you maybe potentially leaving out right now.
He's the definition of like a master technician.
He's a
in
master
the ring.
masterclass.
Every time I see that man fight, he could turn it up in a heartbeat. And he could also control the entire state of the fight. And Crawford's gonna tune up. What's his name? What's his name?
Like Spence?
When they
So you're
fight.
giving it to Spence?
Wait. So who did you say?
I'm giving it to Crawford.
I mean, sorry, you're giving it to Crawford.
Crawford's gonna tune him up.
You know, beat the shit out
CJ
of
the
him.
technician.
Crawford is
gonna work.
a masterclass. He's, he reminds me of Goku.
Bro, he just loves to
You like
fight.
Dragon Ball?
No, you might, Dragon Ball Z, man. You're right, we don't watch that
If
since
you
I was a
don't- if
kid,
you-
but
if you never
the
watched
reason why I
Dragon Ball Z,
compared him
that's
to Goku is that guy, he takes some punishment. Why he's taking the punishment? He's analyzing his opponent, bro. He's constantly getting better over the fight.
Yes.
And he's the king of adapting, man.
If you look at Shakur Stevenson, if you look at there's another guy that come to business, man. I can't remember his name. But they fight in the same camp as Crawford, and they fight like him. And you could see see stylistically the way their hand position is, the way they control, the way they pivot.
He's so composed,
He's so
man.
composed, and he can do
Bro,
it. He can do it all.
Crawford's that type of fighter. Like he's literally 10 steps ahead of you, bro. And he's one of the things I love about him the most. Obviously, that he's a switch fighter. He switches his stance, but he's also the most versatile fighter.
Yeah.
He's one of the most versatile fighters of all time.
Yeah.
That man, like, he could beat you at your own game. All right, he could fight from distance.
He won't even beat you. He's gonna beat you.
You know what I
He's
mean?
gonna beat you at his game. Spence is good at that. Spence is good at beating you.
I feel like Crawford could beat you at your own game as well, man.
And that's why that fight is gonna be probably the best fight this year.
But because Crawford was sitting there and trade with you if he has to.
Oh, he'll do it.
That's what I mean. He could beat you. But I understand what you mean. But Spence he fights. I feel like he's a one-dimensional fighter.
Spence, I see
Like,
what you're saying. Yeah, I
in
see
terms
what
of fundamentals and style, it's amazing.
yeah.
Bro, but he fights one way. You go in there and you know exactly what Errol Spence is gonna do. Could you say exactly prior to a fight what Terrence Crawford is gonna do?
No, you don't know. You don't know. You don't.
And
You
that's
don't
what I
even.
feel
You don't even know
like
if Terrence
sets Crawford
You don't even
apart
know.
from
You don't
Errol
even
Spence.
know if Terrence Crawford's gonna come out as a southpaw or orthodox. Most likely he's gonna come out as a southpaw, but at any moment he could just switch and go orthodox. And he'll start controlling the air. He'll start probing you, and you're like, I don't know where this guy is, and he turns it up on you. So it's gonna be Spence's toughest fight. But I will say, I'll give this to Spence. Spence has fought tougher opponents.
Yeah, he has a resume.
He has a real resume. Spence has a resume. Like he went toe to toe with that Cuban. What was his name?
Which Cuban?
His last fight. We gotta figure out
The last fight.
His last fight's Earl Spence and
I can't remember his last fight right now.
Mike got pulled that up.
yeah, but
I'm on it, bro. Can I do
hold it
something?
up.
Ugas.
Yes.
And I had Ugas in that fight, man. So
Ugas was working him. Ugas was working him a few times.
beginning.
But Ugas was standing right in front of him.
And that's Spence's game right there.
Trading with him.
But you know Ugas, that's why he loves to trade. He doesn't fight like the typical Cuban fighter.
No.
I had Ugas over Porter.
Yes,
in that fight.
Yes, Porter. He was beating
You got
Porter.
that fight as well,
and,
yeah?
and Porter's one of those fighters. He fights the same way every time.
Yeah, he's like
So definitely
aggressive and
my
wild.
top 5. Terrence Crawford.
Okay,
Who's
yeah.
yours?
Hey man, I'm Crawford is actually my favorite fighter right now. I just feel like the only reason he's not in my top 5 is because of his resume. But top 5 talent for sure. I feel like he needs to do some more.
Right.
And he's my favorite fighter
Right,
in all
that
boxing
makes
right
sense.
now.
We haven't seen him fight like a serious.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Spence is gonna be his most serious, but he's gonna go in there and treat it like any other day in the office, and I believe he'll get it done. Like I'll put my money on him for sure.
For sure.
Spence,
That you know about Terrence Crawford or no?
Spence never
Oh,
lost.
okay. So
When they were
for
gonna
my second though, for my second I got Manny Pacquiao. You guys don't have
Hey,
that
he's
guy.
in my top 5.
Oh, he better be.
Manny
He better
Pacquiao.
be. Second week, bro. 8 world champions.
second though.
Yo, Mike,
8 different
press
divisions.
record again?
World champion.
I did choose.
Off and on.
Terrence
Who's
Crawford,
doing that
so-
again? 8 different divisions. World champion in each division.
Yeah,
8 different divisions.
Okay, good point.
Bro,
Good
there'll never be another
That's a
Manny
good point.
Pacquiao
There'll never
again.
be And he would come out with a smile every single time.
Pacquiao is a one in a lifetime fighter, bro.
Battery
Even
charge?
Yeah, I agree.
the only thing Manny Pacquiao never had
Yeah.
was the fundamentals.
Mm.
Right. That's why I say he's a one in a lifetime, one in a generation, like talent. You know what I mean?
His rhythm was very
yeah.
sporadic.
Right?
He's
Exactly.
very, like,
This
it's
guy,
very-
his
it's very
volume in
sporadic.
those punches and his setups, his angles were amazing.
Yeah, because
His feints.
his first 2 shots wouldn't hit you, and then all of a sudden you hit by
Boom, 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 boom.
Next time
Yeah.
he would go,
Yes.
he would fall forward. If you watch his
Yeah, he
style,
leads it.
he would fall forward. He leads,
Leads and then he falls
and then
through.
he falls,
Exactly.
and he falls through those
But
punches.
Floyd was
you
the
know what
only
I mean?
one to break that timing.
Floyd and
Marquez.
But
Well,
that
that
ain't-
was in the third,
The
fourth
third
fight.
fight, yeah. So you better know your opponent
Yeah,
at
absolutely.
that point. You
Yeah,
better
so
know
he
your
had that
opponent.
time to
You had
study
the
him. He
time.
just caught him with a lucky shot. That was it. He timed him, but
I remember that fight, Marquez versus Pacquiao, because I remember before Pacquiao getting knocked out, I'm not making this shit up. I remember looking at Pacquiao like, yo, his rhythm, it's so
Yeah.
like you could read it.
you could see when
You
it's
could
coming.
see
yeah.
it's coming. I'm like, I feel like the right hand, and boom, Marquez
the
knocks
thing-
him
the
out,
thing-
and I was like,
The ability that set him apart from other fighters was definitely in his feet, bro. His footwork wasn't
oh yeah, you see his calves?
gorgeous.
You see his calves?
He had those
Quickness.
Filipino calves.
Oh.
Those Filipino calves, bro. They all have those,
No,
bro.
it is a Filipino.
I know what
thing.
it is, bro.
It is a Filipino. thing.
Yeah, it's just
Their
it's
calves
genes,
are
bro.
massive, bro.
Crazy.
Massive
Super light on his
calves.
feet, his setups,
Pacquiao-
and he had a disgusting slip and into the 2.
Pacquiao
Land
won
every
who-
time.
Who won that fight? Pacquiao thought he won that fight versus
Pacquiao won what?
I mean, that fight took
So
so long.
I
don't like
professional
how
opinion.
I don't. Yeah, you're damn right. You're getting it. I don't like how people thought that fight was close. Floyd picked his ass apart.
That
Yeah,
fight,
that's to the point where Pacquiao was holding his shoulder, bro. Like
that fight was
making up excuses.
That fight was late though.
way over.
That fight was late.
I do think
But if
Pacquiao
they're
was,
both in their prime, do you think it'll be a different outcome?
What do you think?
If they're both in their prime, we'd have a more explosive fight for sure. Like those guys would have let the hands go.
Little
Mayweather-
Would you
people-
say Mayweather's prime was Pretty Boy or money making? Money making Mayweather.
I hate comparing.
Okay.
Same person to like.
To be honest, in their prime-
But if I were to choose like a style that I liked, it would be the Pretty Boy. Because he was throwing hard, he was fighting hard guys.
I love
the money
Money
made
Making- Money Making Mayweather.
the money made is entertaining to
Longevity.
watch. Yeah,
Money May
entertaining
was-
to watch. But the Pacquiao in his prime and the Mayweather in his prime, that would have been a different fight. It would have
Who
been.
you
a
have
different
though? So I still have Floyd Mayweather. Just due to his IQ. You know what I mean? That's how he said he beat Pacquiao. He said in his interview
Mayweather
he understands how.
I would
prime,
lean.
said how-
I would lean toward May, but if it went to the scorecards and Mayweather didn't do enough, Pacquiao would have outpointed.
Which
him.
version of
Yeah.
Mayweather's he fighting in his prime?
Sorry?
Pacquiao's fighting which version of Mayweather?
The-
which one
the
do you like?
Pretty
more?
Boy,
You like
Pretty
Pretty
Boy.
Boy, or you like? So who's he fighting?
I like Money Made. Just due to his.
So he's fighting Money Made.
Yeah, he's fighting Money Made.
And Pacquiao's in his prime.
Early Money Made though.
And you still think
Obviously not late. Yeah,
You still
I would
think-
choose Money Made just due to his IQ.
I do think
Because of the
Pacquiao.
experience that he accumulated over the times, he's able to read things to a different degree. You know, his time and with experience comes the timing, and I feel like that's
for sure.
speed. Timing beats speed, so that's why I feel
Yes.
like Mayweather will always get the best of Pacquiao, and Mayweather, despite only not being like good at timing, he also had the hand speed. He had the footwork. He had a nice pop in that check hook. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'd always give it to Mayweather.
Good point.
Timing,
Good point.
yeah, timing beats speed, right?
Good point.
So that's why I always give it to
Bomb job.
Mayweather. He's just a smart fighter, bro.
And I feel like Pacquiao is one of those fighters that like is bigger than boxing. Like there was like
Oh,
a
yeah.
handful of
There's
those.
a whole country
I remember
behind it.
every time there was a Pacquiao fight. Like I went to Catholic school.
Yo,
it was like a
Filipinos
World
took
Cup
it hard.
effect, fam.
Yeah, I know.
Like World Cup
in
finals,
the
bro.
Philippines,
Filipinos were confident.
in the Philippines, they don't work.
Yeah.
When that man fights, they don't work.
Mhm.
Everything.
That's a holiday.
Everything shut. Everything shut.
Right.
Everything
That's a freaking
shut.
holiday.
Everything shut down. quarantine.
Yeah.
Stay inside.
But he's the governor of the Philippines.
Yeah.
But he's another one.
runs
You think he's a
that country.
political man?
You're right though. There'll never be another Pacquiao.
There'll never be
Just
another
the way there's
Pacquiao.
another,
There'll be another Mike
there's-
Tyson.
The only
There'll be
person
another
that ever
Muhammad Ali.
that ever affected
There could be another Ali.
people, there won't be another Ali.
No,
Is Manny Pacquiao?
talent.
No, there won't be another.
There could be another Ali talent, of
No,
course.
no.
Tyson Fury's not far.
But like, we have to
Don't-
judge
don't-
for
don't
their
disrespect
generation,
the man.
for when they
No.
There won't be
no.
another
There
man.
could be another Ali. Not a freak of nature.
There won't be.
Nah, I don't.
No,
I
but
don't
for
agree.
his time,
For
like
his
with the
time?
training and like their knowledge of everything in that era,
There won't be
like,
another. There won't be another.
that
Muhammad
impact
Ali.
that he had, like, because now, like, yo, we have social media, we see all these stars.
I
Back
think
then, it's like,
Tyson
you only saw a
Fury's
handful
style
of
kind of
people.
reflects.
We got Jake
Muhammad
Paul
Ali.
now.
Yes,
bro.
yes,
Tyson
yes.
Fury's style. There you
Yes,
go. See, I'm
Tyson-
talking big about your boy now, and you're not backing me up. What's going on?
I'm
This
ready,
guy's
bro.
a fake fan, man.
So Tyson
I didn't
Fury,
hear, but we're talking about
Tyson Fury,
fucking.
you think would take on Ali easy?
Sorry.
Tyson Fury
That would
versus
be a-
Ali.
that would
both
be
in
a-
their-
that would
both
be
in
a
their
dope
primes.
race. That would be a
Great
dope
fight, but
fight.
Ali,
The
I
size
think Ali will
difference-
get the best of him.
That would be
Trilogy, 100%.
that would be a generational fight I'd love
Yeah.
to see. Ali and
What's another
Gypsy King.
generational fight you'd like to see? Just
Um,
going off that. So I love these topics.
Well, I want to watch Mike Tyson fight Tyson Fury. That would be another huge fight.
I don't want to see that.
I don't want to see
You wouldn't
Floyd.
want to see
I
that?
don't even want to see. I don't. Mike Tyson. You can watch Mike Tyson on fucking YouTube.
Tyson
all the
Fury is
time.
gonna beat Mike Tyson.
Another generational fight I'd love to see. I don't know. Probably.
I love
my mind just goes through like fighters. Like you ever play a old wrestling game where the menu just
Yeah.
My
Oh,
mind
I
just-
see.
My mind just scrolls through
I
fighters
see.
like this.
I
and
just
it
usually
takes-
compare my favorites. To be honest. Like I would
You
love
like
to-
Lomachenko?
Oh, Loma.
Sugar Ray versus Lomachenko?
Oh, that would be interesting.
Oof.
Crawford versus Lomachenko would be interesting as well.
That's a possible. That could be a possibility.
Yo, why did Lomachenko lose to Lopez?
I feel like
I have the
I got-
answers.
Let me go first, actually.
I have the answers.
I feel like
That's
so
a great question.
Lomachenko, he
I'm
waited
gonna be
too
late. It's
long.
okay.
Like he was downloading. And that's
Download.
that's what he's best at. Obviously, it works for him. I felt like the process was too long. You know, like he had a glitch. You know, like
Yeah,
had a
It's like
glitch in the matrix.
you know what I mean? He had a little virus. You know, so he had
He
to.
couldn't do
He was
nothing.
downloading for like the first six,
Six
7
rounds,
rounds.
yeah.
Man, he took
Yeah,
too
he
long to
didn't-
be active.
He didn't get
And
comfortable.
Teofimo Lopez is a guy that's going to stick to the plan, and
Yeah.
that's what he did.
So he had
He
to do it.
outlanded him in those first few rounds, and by the time those rounds that Lomachenko did fight him,
It was too late.
It wasn't even close.
And it was-
he
and-
fought for like 2-3 rounds,
Yeah.
and Lomachenko like,
And Lopez shut
he
down pretty
overwhelmed
fast.
him. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
And then so pretty
So
much,
it's like
I feel
how
like that's what.
Camboso
If there was a
beat
rematch, I feel like Lomachenko will get. Oh, Cambosos! Oh my gosh! I feel like if Lopez and Cambosos,
I didn't work that day.
I feel like
I'll be honest. I'll tell you how Teofimo beat Loma. Teofimo beat Loma for the same reason why some NBA players, when they go from high school straight to the NBA, play like stars. Because sometimes when you fight the best, or when you're around the best,
Bring the best out of you.
it brings the best out of you. It's like if I got drafted from high school and all of a sudden I'm playing against the LeBron James, where now it's sink or swim. It's either I play at the highest level beyond my own capacity in order just to keep up, or I fall to the wayside. The Teofimo that we saw against Loma, we'll never see that Teofimo again, in my opinion.
Well, you seen it right after
you'll
with Camboso. He completely changed his whole game plan. Like
Right.
Luis after beating Joshua.
Right.
Completely changed.
Right.
Into his fucking head.
Because even Cambosis, he wasn't supposed to beat Teofimo.
No.
He wasn't really.
Yes.
He wasn't. Cambosis really wasn't supposed to be.
he doesn't believe that.
He wasn't. He wasn't really supposed to be Teofimo.
Lopez was
Yeah, he most-
Lopez was looking
first
Lopez
round
was
got
looking
caught.
for that
Got
highlight.
caught.
He's looking for the highlight finish. You know what I mean?
Right.
Look at the first round. Lopez came out. Yeah.
Lopez was also-
he was overconfident.
Yes, Lopez also he was going through a lot of like personal issues.
Yeah.
He was
You were
fighting.
saying his health,
that was
too.
awesome.
Yeah, he was going through some certain shit. So sometimes
I feel like if there was a rematch, you know,
We'll never see. We're gonna see him versus Andy now.
Devin's gonna. Devin's gonna. You ever see a kid on Christmas? Just you gonna pick that boy apart without question.
Hey,
You watch your damn mouth.
I agree with you.
I like
Shout out Greece. Shout out Greece.
I don't think anybody.
Nobody's working that day, right? You fucking smoking cigarettes, drinking coffee.
I was in a damn gym.
Yo, let's wrap up. Let's wrap up the top fives because we
Yeah.
definitely
Oh, yeah, we went off
above
topic
and
there.
beyond.
We all have the same. We all should have
Okay, my
the
num-
same number one. Well, yours is not in order.
Mine is not in a particular order, but my number one. I
We have
wrote.
one left.
I know, but I wrote down a bunch of people.
Hey.
No, we need
Now
one.
you gotta choose.
It's
like,
top
You
five,
didn't
not.
say you're one.
Huh?
You said you're
No,
one.
I didn't say
mine yet.
I didn't say in order, but I will say another one of my all time favorites. My top five is Brown Hopkins.
Just an honorable mention.
No, this is in my top five. Why you
Don't
looking
piss
at
off
me?
Ren.
In no order. His is not in order.
Where's the gloves?
Where is it?
Leave it.
I said Bernard Hopkins. This guy got
We'll
up.
see you later, Ronnie.
Bernard Hopkins.
Somebody in there that I did not hear. I'm disappointed.
Bernard Hopkins won a champion at 49 years old.
There's
I'm
a
sorry.
name I did not hear in that top 5, and I don't know why I did not hear that name.
Because you probably said it.
I listened properly.
You probably said it already. Did you say Mayweather already?
Huh?
Did you say Mayweather already?
You didn't say it,
You
though.
didn't say a name.
You didn't say it.
You didn't say a
Mayweather's
certain
not in
name.
your top 5, is what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Mayweather's not in my top 5.
Oh my god.
That doesn't mean I don't think he's one of the best.
Oh my
I just
god.
like.
Wait,
You
who
should
did you
get
say
everybody's
last?
top 5.
Is
you
your
say
top
last?
5 based on like who your favorite
Yeah,
is?
what
or
is your
who
top
the
5
greatest?
based on?
Like,
What is your top 5 based on? I want to
Yes,
hear this.
you tell us right
Let
now.
me take a seat.
My top 5 is based off 4 elements.
Oh, I wanna hear these
Style,
Floyd,
okay.
Philly Show.
Ring generalship. I don't
He
care.
dictates the pace.
I don't care about record. Influence outside of
That doesn't matter. You didn't lose.
influence
Big
out,
fucking
influence
deal.
outside.
Has a whole promotion
influence
team.
outside of the ring.
As a whole promotion team.
Bro,
Started his
it's
own
not
brand.
that I'm disagreeing with you. I'm just saying he's not
Who'd
in
you
my
say?
top
Who'd you-
5.
who'd
man.
who's
You
that?
have no
Who'd you say?
choice. He has to be their top 5.
Why?
He has to be their
That's
top 5.
like-
He's the
that's
greatest of all time.
He's not the
He's
greatest.
the
he checks all the boxes, is what you're saying.
He's the GOAT.
Okay, he
Who'd you
checks all.
just say over.
How you not gonna put your GOAT in your
I
top
didn't
5,
say anybody.
listeners?
I said my top 5. Here's the specific
your
thing.
top 5?
Your top 5 was actually listed. I just said my top 5. There was no 1 to 5.
But who was the last name
It's
that
the
you
fact
said?
that
I
he
said
wasn't
Bernard
Bernard
Hopkins.
Hopkins.
And
Is in my
you're
top
saying
5.
Mayweather is not above Bernard Hopkins.
You're
I'm
gonna put
saying,
Bernard Hopkins. You're
I'm
gonna
saying,
put Roy
I'm saying
Jones.
based off my
Your criteria,
particular
yeah.
criteria, Mayweather's not in my top 5 because I choose not to put him there because he's in everyone else's top 5. Can we go and look beyond
Oh, come on.
what is? That's
Come
my.
on,
That's my opinion. Bernard Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins.
Everybody else's top
Bernard
5. I'm
Hopkins
not gonna put
is
him in
a
mine.
purist. Bernard Hopkins is an
Yeah.
executioner. Bernard Hopkins is one of the most
Thinking
boring fighters you'll ever watch. But he'll pick you apart for 12 rounds and leave and just go sit in a hot tub of ice for like an hour.
Can you go over that criteria one more time?
Hot tub ice.
Hot tub ice.
Look it up.
Can we?
Go,
Idiots.
You
No,
know
the
that
reason why
criteria
Bernard
one time.
Hopkins' body, and I've listened to him in an
Okay.
interview. He talked about why his body lasts so long. Is because while all the other fighters at the time
my God.
were winning fights, they're going to the club and celebrating.
You guys just
He
ruined a
would-
great friendship.
He would go and
I'm
sit.
talking to this guy.
He would
anymore,
go sit.
bro.
He would go sit in the
I'm
ice
not
tub
talking to. Okay.
and
You ready?
go back to the gym the
You ready
next
for
day.
this?
So at the end of the day, sure, okay, Floyd Mayweather tops of everyone's
I have to ask you
boxes.
something.
What?
So, based on your criteria, right? What does Hopkins have that Floyd Mayweather does not have?
And then tell us your
doesn't
criteria.
have. He doesn't
I
have
missed the 4.
What?
the four criteria. What they do what they do outside the ring generalship. I don't care about record. Their style, how well they implemented it,
We're filming a podcast.
how well they implemented, and also who they fought and who they
I'm
beat.
good. How are you?
Those are my criteria in terms of why those guys are in my top 5.
Boxing Ontario? Oh, fuck.
Oh,
There you
she's
go.
Boxing Ontario. give us a call.
Look at that.
Again?
Shout out Boxing
Shout out
Ontario.
Boxing
We'll get
Ontario.
license next week.
Wait, man, I'm trying to hear her. All right, sorry, Naomi.
Naomi, yo, she sends me the best email. Tell the CJ's
Yeah,
here.
there's a mic here. Yeah.
Yo, that's so jokes.
Okay. I can
meant
give
to
you
be.
mic right now.
That's actually so fire.
Naomi from Boxing
Boxing
Ontario.
Ontario. Shout out Naomi from Boxing Ontario. She always sends me
For real,
the,
shout out Naomi.
every time I
for
have
Boxing
every time I have
She gonna see this.
every time I have
She
a question.
repost this.
Because we're filming a podcast, right?
Every time I have a question, she sends me emails back ASAP.
Oh yeah,
ASAP.
she like that.
ASAP. We went like 2 hours this podcast. I'm gonna be late.
We went heavy.
Yeah, but this is how it's gonna be though.
Wrap this up. After this, we
Shout out to
have
Boxing
George.
Ontario.
Shout out Boxing Ontario. We
Shout out.
legit. You know what I'm saying?
Legit.
LFG's going to be registered. Boxing
After
gym,
this
registering
fight-
the fighters, and then we're going to start talking shit with all the fighters.
Oh my god, yo, we can
It's
literally
gonna be
do
big.
like
Okay.
conferences and
Hey,
shit.
it's not just about the
Yeah,
fighting
yeah.
and talking
Oh
shit,
my
but
God.
like, you know, we're doing a good thing.
All
Okay, yo, we gotta wrap up. So,
That's
okay, you're saying your number 1 is
Floyd.
Come on.
Floyd Money Mayweather.
Who's your number?
Self-explanatory.
Who's number 5?
Mike.
He's gonna say George Q.
Boxing Ontario. No.
He's gonna say.
I had Pacquiao. I had Canelo.
No Floyd
Tyson
for you
Fury.
too. You guys
I
are
had
not-
fucking money made.
Oh,
bro.
okay, my
Do I
bad,
look
my
like- do I
bad,
look
my
like
bad.
fucking the technician?
Yeah, trust me. You wanna look like yeah. You can't do. We're not doing
I
that.
had everybody.
We're not
except-
disrespecting Money May over here. We're not doing that.
I'm not
50 and 0.
disrespecting.
Nah, you respecting more people in a sense.
Yeah, like,
You have to have something like
He
that.
beat 22 world champions.
You want to
okay.
just agree with
Five,
you?
huh?
He just wants me to agree with him. I'm not gonna agree with
All right,
him.
that's fair.
We gotta
Agree or
talk-
disagree.
Like we didn't come here to agree with each
We
other.
need
that's
a
fair.
fourth host because somebody has to go.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
gonna figure it out.
All of
This guy
it.
gotta go. You gotta go back to
we're
your
gonna wrap up. Yeah, we're gonna wrap up.
Yeah.
But yo, thanks for tuning into this episode of Jab and Slip, episode 2. We'll
Episode
be back
2,
next
baby.
week.
We go
Come
back.
back.
Make sure
Bigger
you
and better
comment,
than
like,
ever.
subscribe. You
Do
know,
all that. Subscribe. Hit that red button right now.
And
Comment 21
hop
streams
into
up.
hop into Ronnie's
Yeah.
DM. Tell him something. Getting that.
comment your questions. Comment your
Yeah,
questions
give us
that you
some
want us to
topics.
discuss. Doesn't have to just be about boxing or MMA. We'll talk about life.
And if you're remaining
culture.
abstinent to be the best fighter you could be, let us know. Let us know.
Let us know.
All right.
All
Peace.
right.
Peace.